Hello, so welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. I haven't done a weekly reading vlog in a while, but lately I've been struggling to actually get reading done, and I feel like if I do a weekly reading vlog it's going to encourage me to read a little bit more. Today I'm having a bit of a pyjama day. I don't have to do anything, so I literally will just be reading once I finish my uni work, which is reading, funnily enough. And for that I will be reading something from this, which is the Sagas of Icelander for my Old Norse literature course. So the section I will be reading in this is the Vinland sagas, so that's two, and that is the Sagas of the Greenlanders and Eric the Red sagas. So that's about 50 pages long, I think. So I'm already about 10 pages into it, so not very far. So I'll get the rest of that done today because I have to do it for tomorrow. And then after that I just have some French homework, and then apart from that I'm going to be reading. So this week I am planning to read two books. The first is this one, which you can't see because it's not the thing, and that is Angel Madge by Gareth Nix. So I've started this, I'm about 85 pages into this so far, and the world is very interesting. Like, the magic system is really interesting. So the way the magic works is that you have people who can summon angels through icons, so pictures of the angels that they're referring to. And at the moment you've had it from three perspectives, I think, at this point. The first being what seems to be the villain of the book, as 130 or so years ago she kind of created, I think, or she kind of turned an angel against their kind of country that they are meant to protect, and created this disease where the people of that country, when they used this magic system, they turned to ash, or they became these kind of monsters. Sorry if I'm not explaining this very well. I don't really know what's going on myself quite yet, because as you followed these four perspectives I feel like you haven't really been able to delve quite into the world yet. The next four perspectives that I'm following or about to follow, I think, because so far I've had three of them, so I'm assuming I'm going to get the fourth, are people that villain is trying to find for whatever reason to go with her plan now that she's returned 100 or so years later. So I'm not sure how they fit into it. I'm not really sure what the plot of this is going to be yet, even though I'm 80 pages in. I have no idea really. I haven't really been able to connect to any characters just because the villain, she's not really, I don't know, couldn't really connect to her. And then I've just had one chapter from the remaining 3-4 perspectives, so again haven't had much chance to kind of see what they're like and get connected to their storyline or their world. So interested to see how this goes. Obviously I still got a lot to go. I've got like 400 something pages, so it definitely has time to improve on the character side of things. It's definitely so far showing to be more plot driven than character driven, and I tend to be a fan of character driven stories a lot more, but it's interesting. So we're continuing with that. The next book I have with me is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. So I am planning to read this for the kind of Brandon Cosmere along that Rachel Marie is hosting. So need to get this read. This is also on my February TBR. Angel Badge is not, I just fancied picking it up, so I did. So definitely need to get this going, and it's like 600 pages. So we've got to get a shimmy on. So I'm also planning to read this week as well. So hopefully I will get around to that. And if not, I'm sorry, but this will probably just be me reading Angel Madge for the whole week. But hopefully not, because my uni is striking at the moment, so I have a lot of spare time because half my classes have been cancelled, so I have no uni to do for them. So I have a feeling I'll get a lot of reading done these next few weeks, but we'll see. I shall catch you up later. Hello, so it's currently Wednesday and I thought I'd just do a little update because I actually managed to read quite a lot yesterday. Probably one of the best reading days that I've had in a very, very long time. I managed to read all of my reading for uni, which was like 50 or so pages, and then I also managed to read about 150 pages of Angel Madge by Gareth Nix. So I'm almost halfway. I think I'm pretty much halfway if we don't count there's a bonus chapter at the end, because this is the Waterstones edition, I think. So I'm 246 pages in, so almost halfway, and it is getting better on the character side of it. So I was right, you do follow the kind of nemesis or the villain character. I'm not really sure what her motivations are at the moment or why exactly she's a villain. It doesn't seem entirely clear on perspective of the actual people that she was supposedly harmful to and the aftermath of it, if that makes sense. And then you also follow 4 characters that somehow are involved in her plan to do whatever evil villainous thing that she is doing, but they are all connected some way through these angels that the magic system is involved with. So yeah, so they are all to do with that somehow, and over the past few chapters they've kind of converged and they've all met together and they're trying to figure out what it is that kind of makes them feel like they know each other, why they think they're connected somehow, and all that kind of thing. And I quite like those characters. I wish there was a little bit more of them. I'm not the biggest fan of the villain character perspective at the moment. I just think at the moment she's a bit bland. Like, not bland, that's maybe not the right word, but she's just not that overall interesting at the moment to read from, because at the moment it just seems like she wants to do her evil plan and that's all of it. I do feel like there is some underlining motive that's a deeper motive than just her I'm evil, I want to be evil thing, because she has a lot of history and that hasn't been unveiled yet. So hopefully when that does unveil, she'll become a much more complex and interesting character. But as of yet, don't really like her chapters, or I'm not bothered by her chapters. It's not like I don't like them, I just prefer reading about the other 4 characters. You get a lot less content with them because their chapters are smaller, or the chapter encompasses 2 or 3 of their perspectives. But hopefully that will change as it kind of goes over the pivotal point of the book and gets more into it. So I'm just going to read a little bit more before I have to go back to uni today, and then hopefully again tonight. So I shall get back to you tomorrow and tell you what I've been reading and how far it's gone and what's the deal with the book. So see you then. So it is currently Thursday today, and yesterday I had a little bit of a slower reading day. I did manage to get just over 100 pages read, like 102 pages, so wasn't as good as the day before. But today I have nothing planned, so I'm literally just going to be reading all day, and a little bit ambitious because I still have like 200 pages left of this book, but I'm hoping to finish it today. Big ask, because, you know, reading 200 pages a day, I've only done that once in probably the last 5 years of my life, and that was 2 days ago. But if we can keep the concentration going, hopefully we will finish this today. So I am starting to actually enjoy this a lot. I am starting to enjoy this a lot more. The kind of friendship between the 4 people is probably my favourite thing about it at the moment. I do like a good friendship in thing. I hope that gets played up a little bit more and is just a little bit more kind of warm and fuzzy. But I am enjoying that aspect. I do hope it gets more. If it does get more, then we'll be having a fun time. The 4 characters and the kind of villainous character have now met. They kind of collided and we're getting a lot less from her. So I like that, because I kind of like not knowing what's going on with her because it gives a bit more suspense. And I think it is interesting the fact that I do know her as a character, because I'm now thinking what she would do in those circumstances, or what is she thinking, what is she's plan, how does this work with what she's planning or planned already. So that is an interesting way to do the kind of villain, but obviously we still got a while to go, so who knows how that's going to pan out. I don't know if this is the first in a series. I know this is the only one in a series, I think it is. I think this is the only one in this series, because it says something about his other books at the front, but it doesn't mention that this is part of a series. So I'm assuming it's not. Okay, I just looked online and I can't find anywhere that said this is a series, but nowhere says it's a standalone either, so who knows what's going on with that. At the moment I'm assuming it's a series, just because I feel like it can't all be wrapped up in the next 200 pages. There's too much backstory, there's too much possibility of the future. I don't know how it would all be wrapped up. So I'm going on the assumption that it is a series. It was only published in 2019, so who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? And he has written another fantasy series called the Old Kingdom series, which I might have to look into now because I quite like this book. and I would be interested to read more by Gareth Nix. So that's the plan for today. It's currently 11 o'clock and I have till 5 o'clock to finish this. Let's see if we can do it. Managed to read 201 pages I think yesterday, and 200 of those pages were from Angel Madge, so I completed the book and I have given it 4 stars. I actually did thoroughly enjoy it, and I think I shall tell you my kind of negative thoughts first so that I can focus more on the positives. Although I always find describing positive things about books really difficult, because a lot of the time it's just like a general feel that you get for a book that gives it or determines whether or not it gets a star rating, or at least for me anyway. So if it doesn't seem like there's many good reasons to read this book, there are plenty of good reasons to read this book. I would recommend it very much so. So the things that I didn't really like about this book is the ending, sadly. It is a standalone, it is definitely a standalone. And I might not have liked this just because I'm not used to reading fantasy standalones or standalones in general. Most of the time I do read series or at least duologies, and the ending just seemed a little bit abrupt, a little bit too clean and too perfect and too pristine, and just seemed a little bit anticlimactic because everything was tied up in this nice neat bow, which like is a good thing I suppose. Like, characters don't often get a good ending, but there is so much more that I want to know about these characters. I want to know about the villain, and I just wanted to know that before it was all wrapped up nice and neat and kind of sealed off and put aside. I would really love if Gareth Nix did like a short story collection about the past of different characters, the futures of different characters, just little funny kind of anecdote stories that I could read, because I want to know more about the characters and their histories, especially a lot of the side characters. So Lilith is not a side character, she's the main villain, but I think learning about her history and her childhood would be a lot more interesting and would flesh her out and make her a much better villain character, or at least a character in general, depending on whether or not you see her as a villain at the end of it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Yeah, so that's perspectives. But some of the secondary characters, like, I think it's pronounced Rochefort or Rochefort, Rochefort. You can pronounce that how you will. But I feel like she had a much bigger history that was hinted at but never gone into or experienced, and I just want to see how that relationship worked, or what that history was, and how that then impacted her relationship with one of the main characters, because I think that would be interesting and I want to know about it, because it was so, like, there was a lot of carrot stick dangling, I feel like, in this book, and because it is just a standalone, I'm never gonna get that carrot. It's just gonna be there forever and I'll never know, which is one of the frustrating things about it. But I suppose as a kind of effect of that, it's also what makes it a good book, because now I can't stop thinking about it and wondering about it and wanting to know more about it, which is obviously what you want in a book. You don't want to finish a book and have all those non-endings not tied off and not care about them. You want to be caring about what they are and what they're saying. But I just didn't want it to end. Like, I don't want this to be a standalone, I want this to be a series. But maybe it will be. Maybe it will be a series, but each book has its own tied plot line. Like, it won't be continuous, it will just follow hopefully the same characters or different characters but in the same world. Maybe that would be quite cool if that was the case. We shall see, but as I said, I couldn't find anything online to suggest otherwise, that it was just a standalone, so sad times. But yes, what I did love about this book is that it had really good friendship characters. Again, I wish they were kind of built upon a little bit more, but I did really enjoy them. I want to be part of that group, and I just liked how they kind of interacted with each other and that kind of thing. There was a bonus chapter at the end which I kind of wish I had kept in, because I feel like it would have added to the whole friendship aspect a little bit more, but it wasn't, so there you go. But I did really enjoy that. It was interesting seeing the perspective of the villain, even though I do think she was quite a flat character with just kind of a stereotypical motive behind her. But again, it was quite cool to see from her perspective, because you don't often see that especially if you're getting the perspective of the other people. But there you go. And the magic system, obviously, in this, I've said it before, and if you've probably heard about this, that is what people focus on a lot, is the magic system in it. It is fascinating. It is nothing that I've read before, so I think I did explain it before, but maybe wasn't very cohesive, so I'll just say it a little bit quickly now. But it is based on angels from the heavens that people who have magic can summon using icons, so pictures like these that are painted on rings or brooches. And when they summon these angels, each angel has a specialty that they can do. So one can be good at finding people, one is good at protecting people, that kind of thing. But the more powerful magic that you summon, or the more powerful the angel that you summon, the more life it takes from you. So a lot of the time the people look a lot older than they actually are because of the angels they've been summoning and the magic that they've been performing. So that is really interesting, and the whole dynamic with those that have magic and those that don't magic is very interesting, and kind of a clever way on playing on that social class dynamic that a lot of fantasy books tend to have in them. But I do think that was quite an interesting way to do it. So yeah, 4 stars for this one. Verging on a 4.5. I think if the ending had been a little bit better, I would have given it a 4.5. I just wasn't the hugest fan. I just felt a bit bleh when I finished it, a bit underwhelmed. So 4 stars for that one. So the next book I will be picking up is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I've read like 3 pages of this so far, and I'm actually already enjoying it. So kudos to Brandon Sanderson. Straight away I'm interested in the kind of world and the storyline. I know a little bit more about it now, or from the first 3 pages. You will find this out yourself, but there you go. So Elantris is actually a city, and it is a city that in previous years has been this idolised, amazing, wonderful, kind of magical place that you can go to only if you are this certain, I suppose, species, but people turn into these species and then move to Elantris. So one day you'll just wake up and you'll be this amazing, beautiful Elantris person. I can't remember what they're called. And then you move to Elantris, which was this amazing city. However, 10 years ago that changed, and the people that they turned into were these kind of monstrous, ugly people. And Elantris itself as a city then declined. At the moment we are following a prince who has woken up and he has this curse on him now, and he's literally just gone to Elantris, or he's been sent away to Elantris. So we'll just see what happens then. I kind of don't want to read the blurb, so I'm resisting doing that, just because I want to see what it's like going into it and finding it all out for myself, because I literally know nothing about this at all. I have no idea. So I'm going to try and read 100 pages of this today. I have a really bad habit of finishing a book and then taking forever to get back into another book. So my reading goes really like up and down, and then as soon as I'm like halfway through a book, I will then power through the rest of it. So hopefully I'm trying not to let this happen, not reading this book, because I do want to read at least 2 more books before the end of the month, and it's the 21st today, so it's February, so that's 28 days. So I've only got 7 days to do it. So maybe we won't finish. I want to get at least 1.5 books read before the end of the month, and hopefully this will be one of them. It is quite long, it's like 600 pages. I'll have to read like 150 pages a day, but we'll ease myself in and hopefully get 100 pages done today, because I also want to do some more in my reading journal, because there's just a few little bits that I want to do. I'm actually setting up a page for Rachel Marie's Cosmere Along read along thing that she's doing. Please ignore the fact that I've spelled Cosmere Along wrong. I didn't check it before I did it and I just did it. Though there should be an extra E in there, but you know. final time this week and let you know my thoughts on Elantris and how that's going, because I don't think I'm going to be doing anything else apart from reading and editing this video today, so I thought I might as well just let you know how it's going. We did have some pretty good breakfast this morning, and I'm sure you'll see it because I did take some clips, so I'll pop them in, but it was very good, although I'm very stuffed now and I feel like I'm never going to eat for the next 48 hours. But it was well worth it. So far Elantris has followed 3 main perspectives. The first one is Raoden, and he is the one that I was talking about originally, who gets this disease that all Elantrians get, or they didn't used to get. It used to be that the people who turned into Elantrians were like gods, and they all worshipped like gods, and they had magic and things like that and were extremely beautiful. And then they went to live in this place called Elantris. However, 10 years ago that changed, and the people that now get it lose all their hair, they have like black splotches all over their face, and they're pretty much basically dead is the feel of it. Like, they don't have a heartbeat, they can't die, they don't breathe or anything like that, and if they do get injured they can't heal from it, so they live forever with that pain, which is what turns most of the Elantrians kind of mad, if that makes sense. So all the Elantrians in the city that he is now living in, because he's now got this disease, are either mentally incompetent because of all the pain, they just kind of moan and cry out in agony and can't really function as proper beings. But as he's quite new and he's got a more enthusiastic, positive mindset, he's trying to turn that around, and that's his kind of goal at the moment, is just making Elantris a place that he actually wants to live in and that other people want to live in, with a more positive mental mindset to overcome the pain that they are constantly subjected to, because even if they get like the smallest of scratch, it is constantly on their mind because they can constantly feel it and constantly feel that pain. They can't block it out very easily. And then it follows another perspective, which is Serene, and she is from a different country than what Elantris is in, but she was due to marry Raoden before he died. She doesn't think he was killed or he died on natural causes, but no one will tell her actually what happened, as they're trying to keep it a secret. But she was meant to marry him, and it was part of their marriage contract that if he died before she got there, or before they officially had their ceremony, he would still become her husband. She is a princess of this other country, so that the trade kind of connection thing would still go through, and that they would still have a blood link. And the reason that they want this blood link is because there is a other power that is trying to take them over, and that is where the third perspective comes in, so I shall mention that in a minute. But Serene is a strong female character. She is mentally quite strong, and she's a lot more politically headstrong than the women of Ireland, something like that, which is where the Elantris and the main city that she's now living in and that Raoden was prince of. And the women there are kind of pushed down and just meant to sew and crochet and all that kind of thing, whereas she's trying to change that around, and she's also trying to make sure that the country is not taken over by this other force called the Freudians. I can't pronounce any of the names in this book. It's a struggle. But the Freudians seem to be like a kind of colonistic force that has so far overcome the rest of the world except these 2 countries, Aeolin and the one that she is from. And the main reason that they're doing this, or the main power that they're using it, is their religion. So from what I can understand, the religion is encompassing 2 branches. The one branch is much less severe, and then the other one is a lot more. And the third perspective is from a priest of this much harder, much more regimented religious system that is trying to convert Aeolin into it. And if he doesn't convert it in 3 months, the leader of that religion will come and basically slaughter everyone who doesn't conform to it. So he's trying to do that before then, and he's kind of a controversial character because he doesn't want that to happen, but he also isn't good. Like, he's not very compassionate or emotional or anything like that. He's very stoic and regimented, and definitely has a lot of grey areas. I think he has more grey areas than good areas. The only kind of good thing that he kind of seems to have said is that he doesn't want the whole country to be slaughtered. But there you go. There has been a lot of kind of world building and political building, I suppose, and I'm enjoying it. I think the kind of idea is very interesting. I have no idea where it's going to go because this is a standalone, so it all will be wrapped up within this book. So I'm very interested to see how it's all going to work out, and especially the relationship between Raoden and Serene, because they know each other through messaging each other, but they don't know each other physically. They've never met each other. But obviously Serena's kind of living in his shadow at the moment because he's just died and she is his wife. But Royden's obviously confused because he's living in this entirely new world, and I want them to meet and I want them to see how that goes and see what that happens. But I don't know what's going to happen with him and his disease and what he's going to do with it. It's a very new original concept of a fantasy that I've never read before. Like, there's diseases and plagues and political religious angst in fantasies all the time, but they're never done like this, and I'm just very interested in how it's going to happen and what actually happens in the world. I can't decide if it's plot driven or character driven. At the moment I'm more interested in how the plot's going to go, which is rare for me. I'm more interested in the characters, but I feel like the plot will push the characters in a way instead of the characters driving the plot. I don't know. I could be completely wrong though, but that's what I'm feeling at the moment. So I'm about 190 pages in so far, so I shall carry on with that today and next week if you want to join me in next week's vlog too, and we shall see how it goes. So thank you again for watching this week. I hope it's been semi-interesting for you, and I shall see you in the next vlog.